welcome back to Building Dreams with Virtue Homes. In this episode, we are diving into all things mortgage broking. I am joined today by Robyn Beath. After spending 20 years working for Commonwealth Bank, Robyn is now the head mortgage broker at Gippsland Finance's Traralgon office, helping locals to get into their dream homes. Now, Robyn, can you tell me a little bit off the bat about mortgage broking and what it is that you actually do?
Absolutely. So I'm the middleman, I suppose, woman, whatever you want to put that, in between the client and the bank. So I deal with the banks on behalf of the client to secure their finance for whatever it is that they're looking to do.
Okay. Oh, that was put nice and simple. I love that. And so I'm aware that some people can choose to go through a broker and some people can skip that step and go directly to the bank. Why do you think people should engage a broker? What is the benefit?
Everybody's situation is different as far as themselves, how much they've got in savings, what their employment is, how long they've been with their employer, how many kids they've got in the household. And then you've got the banks. There's lots of different banks out there that have completely different policies to each other. Mm-hmm. So a customer can walk into their bank that they've been with for so many years and they might not meet that policy, so they get declined and then feel disheartened. If they come to a mortgage broker, we're understanding their full financial situation and going, right, well, you don't fit that bank, but you fit this bank or this bank. Right. So as an example, a first home buyer might walk into ANZ, but they're not, ANZ are not part of the first home buyers scheme. Oh. So whilst they can get a home loan, they're paying lender's mortgage insurance. If they've come to a broker, we can explain to that first home buyer, you're eligible for the government first home buyer scheme, so we're going to put you with the banks that are part of that scheme, which saves them thousands of dollars in lender's mortgage insurance. So that's just one example of how it doesn't necessarily work when you go to your own bank.
Yeah. Oh my God. So I didn't even know that some banks were a part of that first home buyer scheme and some weren't.
Correct.
So right off the bat, there is
Absolutely.
a benefit.
Yep.
Well done.
Yep.
So then as a broker, do you have to stay up to date with all of those government schemes and handouts and things?
Absolutely. All the first home buyer schemes, more so the policy changes with different banks. So they're always changing their policies because they're always trying to update and be able to help more and more customers. But again, different banks specialise in different things. So self-employed is another one. Not every client can go to any bank and be eligible under their self-employed policy, whereas as brokers we know the banks that you should target when it comes to being self-employed and where you're going to get the best bang for your buck, or more importantly, where you're going to get that approval.
Yeah, right. Oh, amazing. So then I'm going to ask you the question that I think a lot of people have this misconception about brokers and who they work for, whether they are for the client, for the banks, for the vendor. My understanding, brokers don't actually cost us, the clients, anything. Can you expand on that a little and a little about where your fees come from?
Absolutely. So, and I'll specifically talk about us at Gippsland Finance Solutions because other brokers do things differently. But at GFS, we do not charge the clients any fees. It's very simple. We get paid by the bank that we lodge the application to and get paid once the loan has settled. All of that is disclosed to the client in their application forms and loan contracts, so the client knows exactly what the bank are paying us, but there is no fee from GFS to the client. It's purely we're paid by the banks, not by the client.
So literally costs nothing to engage a mortgage broker.
For a GFS mortgage broker, it costs nothing. Again, some other brokers do charge fees, but we pride ourselves that we're not going to charge the clients any fees. We don't need to. Again, we get paid by the banks for what we do. So we're there to help the client secure that loan, no fees.
Incredible. Literally nothing to lose. I
Correct.
love that.
Correct.
Then going off that, when is the best time to approach a mortgage broker?
Yep. So early on in the piece, when you first think that you might be looking to do something, you want to engage that broker because it's not about, you might not be ready to do what you want to do. So we're all about the education piece. So if you're thinking you might want to buy your first house or you're thinking you might want to put in that pool or buy that investment property, you come to us straight away so we can assess your borrowing capacity and educate you that, yes, you're good to go or no, you're not, and here's what you need to do. You need to build some equity. You need to do some more savings. You need to get rid of some debt, whatever the case may be. It might be that you've got some poor credit history. We can help you with all of that to get you into a position whenever that case the time may be, so you are then ready to do what you want to do.
Oh, love
so
that.
early on in the piece is when we want to see you at GFS, so we can put you on the right path to achieve your goal.
Oh my, perfect. I love that. I love, as someone who is incredibly goal oriented and I need an action plan, I like the idea of going in as soon as possible and maybe not when we're ready, but getting those steps and those tools to achieve the end goal. Amazing.
And
so
you hear a lot of people say, you know, I'm saving for a house, but they don't know how much they have to save.
Exactly.
They don't know their borrowing capacity, and that's what we want to educate them on. Understand what you can afford and then have that goal. This is how much you need to save. And sometimes people are quite surprised that they go, I've already got that.
Yeah, it could be a pleasant surprise.
Correct.
Right. And you could be almost shooting yourself in the foot by not engaging a broker, not finding that out, realising you could have been in your dream home 6 months earlier.
Correct. That's exactly right.
Perfect. I love that. Okay. So then as a broker, do you see more first home buyers, more second, third, fourth time buyers, home builders? Who is your largest clientele base?
It is a mix, and we've got 4 brokers at GFS that between us we specialise in different things.
Right.
So I'm probably the one that tends to see more of the first home buyers, more of the refinance, so just looking to capitalise on the equity in your property to maybe consolidate debt or, you know, buy that pool, shed, holiday, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
We've got Steph who deals a lot with our commercial and agri space.
All right.
Jamie, who deals a lot with our self-managed supers, and Sarah would be similar to myself, all the in-between. So between the 4 of us, we've got everything covered. So whatever your financial goal or query might be, we can help you.
Right. That's the other thing. I think people don't realise that there are brokers that specialise in different things. So is there a difference between a broker for people buying an established home versus a broker for building a home?
Not at GFS. We'll deal with whatever it is you want to throw at us. Whatever your query is, we will cover. So generally as a broker, you can cover off anything. It's up to that individual if they decide I don't want to do the commercial stuff, for example, which is myself. I don't deal in the commercial space. I like the residential space. That's my strong point. But then we've got Steph who will help with the commercial space. But as coming to us, a lot of people don't understand or don't know whether they want to buy an existing house or buy land and build. So again, that's that education piece. So we can sit down and explain, here's the differences between the two, so to help you make your mind up as to which path do I actually want to take.
Perfect. Right. And do you know currently what sort of schemes or government assistances are available to help with buying established versus building?
Yeah, absolutely. So as first home buyers, up to a certain purchase price, they don't have to pay stamp duty, be it buying the land or buying an existing property. Then there's the first home buyers scheme, if they meet the criteria there, that they can lend up to the 95%. And there's still the first homeowners grant when you're building a brand new home that we can assist. And we assist with all of that. We help you fill in all the forms. We submit it for you as part of the application, so you literally don't have to do anything.
Oh, I love a broker that holds your hand.
Yep.
I get so scared.
We hold your hand the whole way through, so it's not just up to approval. We've then got our settlement team who assist all the way through to settlement, and then we've got our customer care team who will assess your loans going forward. So once it's funded, every 6 months, making sure you're still on the right interest rate, trying to get better discounts for you, or referring you back to us as the brokers because it might be time to move on to a different bank to get that better rate.
Yeah.
So we cover you, we're there for the life of the loan, not just at the start.
Oh, I love that too. Yeah, I love that you don't sort of drop and
No,
good
not
luck,
at all.
the best to you. You've got the approval.
No.
Amazing. That is really important, that
Yeah.
continuity of
Yeah.
care. Are you seeing a lot of refinancing or, I was thinking with the rate drops at the moment?
Yeah. Look, it's been consistent the whole way through, and it's good to see people do put their hand up to go, is my rate the right rate? Refinancing, a lot of it is around debt consolidation or, like I said, drawing out equity to improve the property, do some renovations, buy the holiday house or buy that second property. So we do see a lot of that for sure.
Yeah. And do you see an uptick coming with the rates steadily going down? Are you forecasting a few more first home buyers or new home builders coming in and wanting to actually take that step now that the banks are a bit more settled?
Yeah, that and spring, the nicer weather coming forward, like all of that helps. So I do anticipate that we'll start to get busier again, and the rate cuts absolutely help that. For sure.
Absolutely. Oh, I know personally, I wouldn't be looking even 6 months ago, and now I'm thinking, oh, maybe we could afford it. Maybe I could have a bigger home with a playroom. And yeah, I love that there is a psychological effect with the weather. You're so right. We see more people coming into the displays during summer.
Yep.
Sunny weather, people want to go house shopping.
For sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Amazing. So you are in the Gippsland area. Obviously, you are Gippsland Finance.
Yes.
How long have you been in the area, and how well would you say you know this local market?
Yep. So for myself, I've been with GFS for 3 years now. So the Traralgon office has been open at 3 years. I'm from the Valley. I have never lived anywhere else. Born and bred here, so I know the local area. I know a lot of the local industry, so the power stations with all the casual shut workers. That's a niche that not everybody understands.
Yeah, of course.
Not every bank will have the policy to suit those employees. So I understand a lot of that, having grown up here, lived and worked here all my time.
True local. That's another thing that we've found, even with our tradespeople here at Virtue. There is a specific niche in Gippsland. You have to understand the area, the environment, and the people. We are very different from Metro.
Correct.
And even different from other regional parts in other states.
Absolutely.
I love that.
The other thing we pride ourselves on is we do have offices, Warragul, Traralgon, Bairnsdale, and we do face-to-face appointments. So you can come into our office, you can sit across from us, see our screen so we can explain everything to you. We do accommodate interstate or people who can't get away from work with phone and video conferences, but we absolutely want to see people face-to-face where we can.
Amazing. So there is that option to come in and actually have a chat or to FaceTime or the equivalent.
All of that, absolutely.
Amazing. Alrighty. And what are your 3 biggest tips on what we need to prepare when we're first coming in and engaging a broker? What do I need to have ready?
Yeah. So first is just pick up the phone and make that appointment, and then just be ready to provide the information that we ask for. So we do ask for documents. We ask for your ID, your pay slips. We're not asking it for you, asking you for that just because we want to annoy you. We genuinely want that information so we can give you the answer on your borrowing capacity based on your current situation. Right. So just be prepared. We want the bank statements. We want all of that information. And just be prepared to be educated, like educate yourself, which is, again, going back to your previous question, come and see us early in the piece so you know when you're ready to actually take that leap into that purchase or that build.
Amazing. Yeah, you don't want people coming in and saying, I want to buy a house in 5 weeks. And
look, we do get that. We do get that a lot. We do. But, and again, we can accommodate that. Just be prepared to give us what we ask for. Yeah. So to work with us. Absolutely. But again, if you're, just not sure on what you want to do, reach out as soon as possible.
Yeah, I love that. So come in, have our identification, obviously, pay slips.
Yep.
How many pay slips do you require? Like, is it at least 2 weeks?
Usually only the last 2 pay slips. We're still within the first 3 months of the new financial year. Yep. So we will ask for income statements from last year to know what you earned last year.
Of course.
That will peter off come the end of this month. Bank statements, we want to see your bank statements. Yeah, we want to see how you spend your money so we can give you tips that, maybe you need to back off on the zip pay or the afterpay or the sports bet, whatever that is. Again, it's about that education piece to get you in the right position so when we can say you're now ready to purchase, yeah?
Yeah, amazing. I am aware personally of the impact of things like zip pay, afterpay, credit cards. Could you educate the listeners a little bit on what impact those things have on borrowing capacity?
Yeah, so it's not only borrowing capacity, it's also your credit score. Yeah, right. So the more of those sort of facilities that you inquire, the lower your credit score goes. And it can get to a point where some banks will go, well, your score's too low. We don't want to entertain anything about you, irrespective of what your income or your savings might be. They affect your borrowing capacity. Yeah, so, you know, a few of these zip pays and afterpays, they are like a credit card. They have a limit on them, and we have to include that limit, which can decrease how much you can borrow. So they do have a big impact, on your ability to be able to achieve your goal.
So try to close out that afterpay before
Just try not to use them in the first place unless you genuinely need them. But again, that's about coming to see us. Some people can afford to have them.
Yeah.
Other people can't. And again, that's that education piece that we can turn around and say, look, you're okay with those cards, or hey, you might need to scale back on them. And here's the impact that then has for you.
Amazing. So you can have a look at exactly our expenditures and say, you can afford to cut this. You can keep this. Yep. What about things like a Netflix subscription or the gym? Are those bits and pieces?
That's the other thing. It's okay to have them, but so many people don't realise how many they actually have. And they've probably got, 4, 5 and 6 streaming services, but they might only actually be using 2. They're paying gym fees, but they haven't been for 6 months. So us looking at your bank statements to uncover those sorts of things, that's going to help with your savings, because if you're not, don't pay the gym fees if you're not going, because that's money that you could be putting towards your house deposit.
Simple. I love
correct. It. So it's just a good review of things that you might not think about yourself.
Oh, and I think we all need that. Unless you are in the finance world, I think we all need to go and see a broker or a financial advisor or someone who can look at our expenditure and say, hey, maybe cut back on the Maccas.
Correct.
It's taken away from your borrowing capacity.
Absolutely. That is correct.
I do just want to touch back on the Afterpay and the credit cards. Again, I am aware from personal experience, but a lot of people aren't, that it is the limit of the credit card that is applied.
Correct. You can have a $10,000 credit card limit and owe nothing on it. And in your mind, I don't owe anything on that. But the bank will assess it based on a $10,000 limit, because you could be going to Harvey Norman tomorrow and spending the whole lot.
Yeah.
So the limit is what the banks go off, not what you owe on those facilities.
Right. So if you have a credit card and you have nothing owing on it, maybe close that account.
Not necessarily close it. Come and see us first, because, again, we don't want to impact your credit score too much. So just possibly don't use it. But, come and see us first to understand the impact of what that card is doing to your borrowing capacity.
Yeah, totally.
Yep.
With credit scores, what is considered a healthy credit score range, and where should we hope not to dip below?
Yeah. So most banks want your credit score. It's a score from, it says 0, but I have seen them negative, which is obviously not great.
Oh, boy.
Up to 1,200. So generally most banks want your score above 680. Okay. And there's so much that impacts your credit score. It's not just defaulting on a loan or anything, not paying a bill. It's literally just your name, your age, whether you're male or female, change of address, change of employers, all of those things can actually impact your credit score. And just inquiring, like if you go from bank to bank to bank, because you're trying to do your research to understand what different banks can offer you, that can impact your credit score. So again, coming to see the mortgage broker where we've got access to multiple banks.
You're not putting those inquiries you already know.
Correct.
Oh, my goodness.
And the other thing you need to be aware of on your credit report is fraudulent activity. Yeah. You see it a lot, that you walk in and go, my credit score is fine, and I'll turn around and go, here's your report. No, it's not, because you've been hacked. So you always want to be on top of your credit score to make sure that when you're ready to purchase, there's not going to be a hiccup. You might think you've closed that GE credit card or that Go credit card, and in fact it's still open. And again, that can impact your credit score. So we want to uncover all of that before we submit that application to the bank.
Oh, incredible. Okay. Yep. If I wasn't already sold on mortgage brokers, well and truly sold now, I need a mortgage broker mum to come and help me with my finances. And
Absolutely.
Say, honey, no.
Correct.
Amazing. So, Robyn, could you give us some tips maybe on improving our credit scores or increasing our borrowing capacity? What are some things that we can do or adjust to get a better score?
Yep. So as far as your credit score goes, the obvious things, pay your loans on time, don't default them. one of the things we're seeing a fair bit is clients feel like they're doing the right thing, that they might be starting to struggle with repayments, and they'll just contact their bank and say, I want to stop a repayment, but they're not properly understanding the impact on that credit score because the bank are actually putting you into hardship. A lot of the customers I see, if that was properly explained to them, they could probably come up with an alternative. So again, if you feel you're struggling a little bit, contact your bank, not so much your bank, but maybe your broker to have it explain to you what your options are before you go into hardship. Don't inquire for things like when you're sitting there online shopping and going, oh, I might see about that Zip Pay. The minute you click that button, it's hit your credit report as an inquiry. And too many inquiries, you might not have taken the facilities, but it will decrease your score.
Oh, man.
So don't inquire for something unless you genuinely actually need that finance.
Yeah.
As far as your borrowing capacity goes, don't have too many credit cards or personal loans. You know, again, they're debts that we have to include in your borrowing capacity that will decrease how much you can actually afford to borrow for that home loan.
Oh, amazing. Now, I, again, personally am aware of the impact that taking out something like a vehicle loan can have on borrowing capacity. Again, I think a lot of people aren't aware of the fact that it actually can decrease your borrowing capacity by more than the actual vehicle loan.
Absolutely.
Can you explain that a little bit?
Absolutely. So, you know, just because you might have a repayment that's, for example, you know, $500 a fortnight doesn't decrease your borrowing capacity by $500. It'll decrease it by tens of thousands of dollars. Yeah. So it's a matter of understanding, do you really need that car? Is it a want? Is it an actual need? And again, going to see a broker. There are brokers out there that deal with just car loans. Don't go just to your car yard to get that finance. You can reach out to us at GFS. We'll put you in front of our car finance team who do the same thing but with car loans. Rather than just getting the first one that is there, get one that actually suits your requirements.
Yeah.
It's good to talk to a mortgage broker if you're an existing homeowner. You might actually have equity in your house that you can use to buy that car rather than get that car loan over a shorter loan term with a much higher interest rate.
Yeah, right. Again, it's all about that education.
Correct.
Before making any large purchases, what I'm learning is talk to your broker.
Absolutely, for sure. Yeah. I've got a young first home buyer who approached me again on the weekend. I have spoken to him. He's not ready to buy for 6 to 12 months, but he's going overseas.
Right.
And he approached me at footy on the weekend in a panic because he goes, I had to get a credit card to be able to book hotels and car hire when he's in the States.
Yes.
What is that going to do? So it was around that conversation. Well, it is going to decrease your credit score, but it's a need in the short term. You're going on a holiday. When your holiday's over, we can then deal with that credit card. Just don't go rack it up to the full limit. Yeah.
Don't go spending it in Vegas.
Correct.
Oh, amazing. So even examples like that, a really specific life choice, traveling overseas, you are able to assess that, the impact that it has, and create an action plan for the future.
Absolutely. And the other one that's good to talk to us about first is before you expand your family and have children. Yeah.
Because children, ask that.
Children, similar to a credit card, they do decrease your credit score because the banks are looking at how many adults and children are in the household. Yeah. So the more kids you have, the lower your borrowing capacity goes. So it's always good to have that chat beforehand. Obviously crystal ball, but have a chat beforehand. If it is in your plans to have kids, at what stage do I need to be buying the house?
Exactly. Yeah.
Correct.
If I want a new car or I want to have another kid, talk to the broker first, maybe lock in that house, and then you can make those moves.
And learn to budget that when there is just two of you in the household. Learn to budget better. Learn to try and live off one wage. So when that baby comes along and a wage decreases, you're already used to doing that. And in the meantime, you've smashed so much more off your home loan.
Exactly. Oh, that is my biggest tip to new parents or people is Practice living off one wage, because
Absolutely.
it happens.
And that's what I suggest to a lot of my first home buyers when they're still, miles off, but they need that savings plan. Here is what your repayment would be. Now, if they're not renting, if they're living with parents, start putting that much away, plus a little bit to cover your house and contents insurance and all those other adult bills that come along with having a house, to get you used to having that repayment. But in the meantime, it's just going to increase how much your savings are for when you're ready to actually purchase.
Amazing. Actually, speaking of home and contents insurance, do brokers advise on insurances? Is that such a thing?
No, that's totally up to the client, whether there are insurance brokers that people can go and see, or you just jump online, do some research. What's that? Compare the market, the meerkat one. Those sorts of things will help you with your house and contents insurance. The only tip I would give you is don't just shop by premium. It's no different to a home loan. Mm-hmm. The interest rate is not the first thing we look at. We look at your situation first. What do what bank do you fit with? What's your policies, what policies do I need to follow? Then we're looking at the interest rates. House and contents insurance is the same. Look at what you're covered for. Mm-hmm. Not just the premium.
Right. It's solid advice.
Yeah.
Amazing. Is there any other advice that you would like to give to our listeners, particularly the listeners who are looking at building their dream home? Any advice that you have for them?
Just reach out to your broker. Like if you're thinking, if it's just the tiniest little thought in your mind, reach out to your broker to understand how you are going to achieve that goal. Yeah, it might be that you need to buy the land and you sit on the land for 12 months to then build the equity to be able to build. Can you do it all in one go? Understanding, again, for first home buyers, what their borrowing capacity is with the schemes and the like. Just reach out to your broker, any broker. Reach out to them as soon as you can to get on that pathway.
That is the number one takeaway from today, is just talk to your broker.
Talk to your broker.
And if you don't have a broker, find a broker.
Find a broker.
They are your best friend.
Correct.
Amazing. Just touching on that a little bit, there are many pathways to home ownership and home building, and so many different options. And is that something that brokers can help with, exploring the different pathways, guarantorship, government, I don't want to say government schemes, but government assistance.
Incentives,
Incentives, I like that. Scheme sounds villainous.
Absolutely, we can help. So as a broker, it's my job to give you all of your options, and some options might be off the table, but then they might be options you hadn't thought of before. Yeah. I did have a customer recently, first home buyer, but she didn't quite meet the scheme criteria. She didn't quite have enough in savings, so I just threw it out there. Have you got parents that might go guarantor? And the answer was a very solid yes. Beautiful. She was within a week buying her first home because mum and dad were able to assist her with the guarantee.
Amazing.
So we'll give you all of the different options, and you'll either say, yes, I can do that, or no, I can't. But then you'll walk away, again, educated on what you know you can do.
I love that word. That is
very much.
That is the word.
Absolutely.
Education. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me, Robyn. I really appreciate it.
No problems.
Thank you.